Okay, so our first question is, what would you change if you were never going to die?
I was never going to die.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Could you give me more information about that, like health?
Well, if you were like never going to die, so
If you were like
can live
immortal.
forever, what would there be anything you want to change about yourself?
I'd change, not myself so much as the world.
The world.
I'd have peace. I'd have them figure out how to have peace and how people could get along in the world.
Okay, awesome. Okay, the next question is, if you were at heaven's gates and God asked you, why should I let you in, what would you say?
Because I'm a good person and I've tried hard.
Okay. That's a good question. Next question. What would you change if you were told that God does not exist, or if you do not believe in God that He does exist?
Nothing. I'm a good person and I tell the truth to other people and I tell the truth to myself. And I try to do the best I can all the time.
Okay. Last question. Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
Well, I fear pain and death, but not death. I'm going to go up to heaven and eat cake and ice cream.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your name?
Hi, my name is Charlena.
Okay. What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist?
I wouldn't change anything because God does exist.
Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
No, I don't fear death. Actually, when I get old enough, I'm kind of looking forward to it, to go to heaven.
What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
Oh, probably my eating style. I'd probably eat better.
If you were at heaven's gate and God asked, why should I let you in, what would you say?
I lost my key.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So just read the question and then
Say your answer.
All right. What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God doesn't exist, or if you don't believe in God that He does exist? I'm agnostic, so either way I wouldn't change a thing, because it's the way I live my life. Doesn't depend. Nothing depends upon the existence of God. 8. Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason? The second part is very intriguing, but no, I don't fear death. And it's not much else, just how can you fear something you know nothing about? 10. If you were at heaven's gate and God asked, it's all about God and death. Okay. If you're at heaven's gate and God asks you, why should I let you in? First, what would you say? I'd say, why are you speaking like Yoda? One thing, why should I let you in? That's really strange. And the other, I would say, well, you shouldn't let me in if you have to ask me that.
Thank you. Okay. What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist, or if you don't believe in God, that He does exist?
Not much, truthfully. I do come from a very religious background, but to me, if God did not exist, it would simply, well, I'm a man of science. I'm an engineer by nature and trade. I always approach things from a scientific perspective, and so being told God does not exist would not change that in any fundamental way.
Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
I don't. And really it's because, again, I'm going to go back to the engineer mindset. I don't fear things I can't control. There's no point in it.
What would you change if you knew you were never going to die? You knew you were never going to die.
Well, I would certainly try to get a better perspective on the world. Try and definitely make a point to travel more, which I do already, but...
Okay. If you were at heaven's gates and God asked, "Why should I let you in?" what would you say?
Because I truly have read and understood biblical principles and tried to live by them, and don't simply accept what people's interpretations are, but really try to get to the root of what they actually are.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Miss Perkle.
Okay. What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
I don't know that I would change a whole lot. I might do like more riskier things that I might not do now.
Okay. If you were at heaven's gate and God asked, "Why should I let you in?" what would you say?
I would say because I tried to follow in His word and try to be a representation of Him and try to do good things.
What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist?
I don't know that I would change anything. I think I would still live the way that I live now.
Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
I absolutely do not. I do not fear death.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Mesa Jabawi. Okay, so the first question is, what would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist? Or if you don't believe in God, that He does exist?
I wouldn't change anything because God made everything's perfect the way it is now.
Okay, second question, do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
I do fear death, yes.
What's your reason?
Why do I fear death? Because I'm worried about the people I'm going to leave behind.
Okay, the next question, what would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
What would I change?
Yeah.
Well, stop it. If we can do it over, it's okay.
No, keep going. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm on.
Action.
Do you want me to say my name or anything?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Kennedy.
My name's Sarah too.
Okay, should I ask the question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I were to die at midnight, what would I be doing at 11:45 p.m.? I would be spending my last 15 minutes with my family.
Aww.
If I had all the money in the world but still had to have some kind of job, what would I choose to do? I would probably work part-time or volunteer just so that I had something to do in my spare time and not be bored. When I'm 90 years old, what will matter most to me? I would definitely say family. And do I fear death? If so, do I have a good reason? Well, I would only fear death if it comes too soon because I think that everyone should live a long life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Do I have to introduce myself or anything?
Yeah, just say your name.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
Hi.
And what would I change if I knew I was never going to die? I would probably take more risks. I'd probably go skydiving. I've always wanted to go skydiving, but I love life too much. And so, yeah. Anyway, then the next question. If I was at Heaven's Gate and God asked, "Why should I let you in?" Well, that's a no-brainer for me. It's because Jesus died for my sins. Yay, and I'm saved. What's one small thing I could do to make someone's day better? Just saying hello, really. Just talking to them. Just giving somebody some attention, because some people just feel like they don't matter. And let's see. Would my relationship with God change at all if I was told 100% certainty that He was actually a she? I would be surprised, but I think that would be cool, because I don't know. I would probably be saying, "Our Mother who art in heaven."
All right. Thank you so
Thank-
Amanda.
Hey, Amanda.
Hi.
Okay. What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist, or if you don't believe in God, that He does exist?
Oh my goodness, that's a loaded question. What would I change? I don't know that I'd change anything because I'm kind of on the cusp here. I think that if you're living a good life, it doesn't matter either way. It's gotta exist.
Okay. Next question. Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
Do I have a good reason? Let's see. I don't necessarily fear death. I don't want to die. I would definitely not want to die at this point in my life. I've got a lot more life to go, so I guess that's kind of a fear. But I'm probably, because I've read so much, I'm probably not as scared of death as a lot of people. I like to think of it just as, something that happens to everybody, so there's no point in being afraid of it.
Next question. What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
If I was never going to die, I would invest a lot more money, because that is an expensive thing to do to never die. I would probably not focus on short-term goals. I'd want to see the world, but if I've got my entire life to do it, I'd spend a lot more time with people that are going to die, my friends and family, and then, I've got forever to do things. So start making a really good list.
Okay, if you were at Heaven's Gates and God asked you, "Why should I let you in?" what would you reply?
Wow, loaded questions. Why should you let me in? I guess it's a better question of why shouldn't you let me in? Who are you letting in? Why are they better than me? I think I've been a good person. I've never tried to hurt anybody else. I've tried to live my life in a way that helps other people. So that's probably what I would argue.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Dan Walco.
Okay. So do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
No, I don't fear death. I think it's just a part of life. The end part, but a part nonetheless.
Okay. If you were at Heaven's Gate and God asked, "Why should I let you in?" what would you say?
I make a really awesome spinach dip.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Miss Curdo.
Okay. What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
Well, I consider myself somewhat of a risk taker now, but I guess I would if I knew I was never going to die, I would do more daredevilish things, more activities, maybe like paragliding or hang gliding, whatever it's called. Climb some larger mountains, things like that.
Oh, nature. Okay. If you were at Heaven's Gate and God asked, "Why should I let you in?" what would you say?
Because I believe in him and because of the way that I have followed him and tried to spread his word throughout my life.
What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist?
If I was told with 100% certainty that God does not exist and there was absolutely no doubt, I don't really think that I would change the way that I live because, it's good to be a good person and it's good to do things for others and to be responsible, and so that part of me definitely wouldn't change.
Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
I do not fear death because I know that when I die, I will be with God forever.
Yay!
Thank you.
Hi, Amanda. Okay, what would you change if you were told that God does not exist? Or if you don't believe in God, that He does?
My religion, probably.
You would change your religion?
Yeah. But God doesn't
Don't
exist.
judge! Okay, next question. Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
No.
Another here?
No.
Do you have a good
Why?
reason?
No. No, I don't have I'm not scared of them.
What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
I do stupid things.
Like?
Like yell at people and stuff.
You do that now.
Okay, if you were at Heaven's Gates and God asked you, "Why should I let you in?" what would you say?
Because I was such a good person on earth. How do you listen?
It is.
Oh, okay. Because I was such a good person.
So you deserve to go to heaven.
Yes.
Thank you, Nada.
That's it.
Hey, my name is Mariam Salama.
Okay, what would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
If I was never going to die,
Yeah, what would you change?
my school, I'd move to California. I would travel a lot, get a pet dog, name it Bob. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, if you were at heaven's gates and God asked you, why should I let you in? What would you say?
Because I'm a good Muslim. Like, I love heaven. Like, just let me go.
What do you think?
What would you change if you were told that God does not exist? Or if you don't believe in God, that He does?
What would I say?
What would you change?
About what? What would I
Your lifestyle.
Like,
let's say.
with 100%
If God 100%
certainty that
does
God
not exist.
Didn't it?
Yeah. And they prove to you that He doesn't. What would you change? What would you do?
I would still be like a humble person. I wouldn't change my personality. I wouldn't change my life.
Okay. Do you fear death?
Hell yeah.
If so, do you have a good reason?
Because I don't want to like end my life. I didn't do anything I want in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrap.
Hi, my name is Yasmin.
Okay. Hi, Yasmin. So just a few questions we're going to
No,
ask you.
stop.
Hi, my name is Yasmin.
What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist?
I think I would be a lot looser. I would actually, like, I wouldn't have to worry about my religion anymore, because, like, if God doesn't exist, I guess I don't have a religion. But I think I'd still be a good person, because, like, I don't think it's religion that makes you a good person, it's just you gotta be a good person in life.
Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
I don't fear death, only because it's, like, unknown. Like, only God knows when you're gonna die, and, like, why would you live your life being scared of that? If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
Nothing. If I was never gonna die, I'd probably hate my life, because, like, I'm never gonna get out of here.
If you were at heaven's gate and God asked you, why should I let you in, what would you say?
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله.
Thank you.
Your name?
Sarah.
Okay, Sarah. What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist?
These are hard. Okay, I'd probably do what I want. I'd probably then try to tell the world that God does not exist too. I'm sorry, but I now know 100% sure He doesn't exist. I'd then try to make my own experiment on something. I don't know what it is, but find something out. I'd be a scientist. I'd then be a singer.
This is already
Because apparently it's haram to be a singer, so I'd do that. Yeah.
Do you fear death?
Of course I fear death.
Do you have a good reason?
Of course I have a good reason. So, I would hate to die in the middle of my life. I haven't even done anything. I've spent 15 years in a school, so I'd like to live my life just a little bit more, and I'm scared it's going to be taken away at any moment. So that's why me and death don't go together.
Okay. What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
I'd get out of school. I'd spend the rest of my life trying to find Harry Styles. I'd probably find him. What else would I do? If I were never going to die, then that means that all of my morals and ethics also, like, go down the toilet. And then that means that, like, everything is gone, so then that's what I would do. I'd just do whatever I want.
If you were at heaven's gates and God asked you, why should I let you in? What would you say?
I'd cry until He let me in. That's it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Nadia.
Okay. What would you change if you were told with 100% certainty that God does not exist?
I would tell him you don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't believe them. Like, I'd be like, okay, you're not going to change my mind on what I think. So I'll just keep thinking what I thought before.
Okay. Do you fear death? If so, do you have a good reason?
Yeah, I do fear death. Because I feel like it's a scary place just knowing that, like, you're not part of this world anymore, and, like, everyone's still living and you're not. So it's just, like, a scary feeling.
Thanks.
What would you change if you knew you were never going to die?
Okay, everything. I would be like more careless and more like reckless. I guess like in the beginning, I'd be more like appropriate, but then yeah.
If you were at Heaven's Gate and God asked, "Why should I let you in?" What would you say?
You made me. I deserve to be in. No, I'm just kidding. If I knew that what I did was right, then I don't know. I just like go in. I just go in.
Thank you. Do you fear death? Do you fear death? I said, do you fear death? Do you fear death? Do you fear death? What are you doing this to me? Come on. What are you doing? Yes or no questions. I don't want to talk to you first. Okay, we're done here.